Good evening, and we are back for another, laat ek dit reg sê, Women's Month interview. But ek in Women's Day is like, ons praat altyd so. So for those who don't know, we are trying, or we tried, and it was amper by the finish line, to do an interview every night, um, talking up to phenomenal women about their journeys in life. And what we're trying to do is bring awareness to the different topics women go through. So tonight we have another phenomenal woman. I want to say this is stalker. First after
No, why must you expose me like that? Huh? Yeah, you just throw everything out there. Okay, yeah. Following you for a couple of weeks and watching the shows, and yeah, now I'm here. Now I'm on. Yo,
English. Well, no, it's very nice to have you. So how do I pronounce your name again?
Anjay, Anjay.
Yes, so you
And
need
you
to
know,
say
colored
it's
people met
difficult now.
Anthony and Janine. Like colored people combine the names. So my any person now. Anthony and Janine. Anjay. Ik Anjay. Me and you, Anjay.
Yes. So we
Yes.
have, look, when you asked me and I said, okay, now send me your profile pic and then send me your bio. You send a yellow. How old are you? Let's just start off with that.
32. 32, going on 33 for next week. Oh, when you're
For next
older.
week,
Yes, we'll be 33 next week.
I mean, you've done a lot. Let me just start with there. From the CV
It
that I've got, you've done a
was
lot.
a whole drop
Yeah.
down. I was like, must I send this in a voice note? Must I type it? Yo, my typing is getting long now. No. And so, and
I
you're
mean,
like,
is this the root of being single? Just doing things.
yes, you just go ahead. Just don't even still ask. You just want to invite yourself, man. You just like, I'm there already. Yeah,
Okay.
you just
Because
send the link.
you've been away. Just name it. You've been in Australia. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. I was working in Australia for 4 years on the boats, and before that,
Uh,
I was working in Dubai for 2 years in the restaurant and hospitality. So that was
yes.
all for 6 years until end of 2019. Then I've been home now for 22, the lockdown basically, pandemic.
Okay. So for your last 2 years, you have been calm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Calm and frustrated, and you know all those emotions that come with being being suddenly at home again from like traveling,
Okay.
jet set. Then now
Okay.
you like just
Okay.
yeah at home again.
Okay. Now let's start off with a hard question. What is it like to be
Okay.
single?
It's been alright. It's been okay. Yeah, it's been a mix of emotions, but we make it through day by day. You know, ons gaan aan ons kap aan soos hulle sê. Yeah.
Is there like a pressure because you said you like 32, right? Is there
Yes.
kind of like pressure with you every time you like go to a wedding, sometimes a funeral, a 60th birthday? It's like bijna gaan ze trouw. Is it
Yes,
that?
girl, your clock, your clock. I'm reminding you. Yeah, all the time. The aunties and the uncles, they don't care. It's
Mm,
like, waar hy dan? Like, no, stop asking me that. If you would have
mm,
seen, I would have brought him along. If yeah, but die was
okay.
dinge, die was hy potse dik. So hy stiekom weg, jong. Stiekom ver
Mm.
weg.
En nou, what does that do to you? Like, sy kom hier vir die party, so jy dink nou, okay, ons gaan nou lekker party hou. And then everyone asks you, what,
Yes.
waar is dinge van?
No, but I think I'm calm. I take it cool and calm in my stride. I just have a laugh and say, no, man, don't worry about me. Yes, I stick on weg, man. You don't worry about me. Focus op julle. Like sometimes someone asks people like, but why are you think so married so long? Jy's nog getroud met dinges.
Mm.
Oh. I'm gonna put the questions on them. Jy vra vir my
Oh,
hoekom is
okay.
ek single? Then I want to ask them,
Mm.
but why? Why you been married so long to Uncle Dinges? My son is meer lekker nie. Hulle treat mekaar
Mm,
lekker nie, you know? But then I
mm,
just
mm.
like, yeah, just mind your words as adults, you know? But in my mind, I'm
Mm.
like, worry, vra vir my.
Okay. So you have been watching our videos, and so you know all the topics we've done so far.
Yeah, lots of
And
interesting topics. I love it.
y- yes, and so a lot of it came from like being single. Is it like a choice, or
I
is it
think
just
also
like
it's a bit of both. It's like, look, for me, traveling for quite a while now, and then coming back home in your hometown is once you've traveled and been places and seen things, then your mind is like expanded, man. Then you're not that normal hometown person that
so?
you were at that time already. Now to
Mm,
come back and now trying to gesels with dinges and dinges here om die draai is like it's difficult, man. It's difficult to just put your mind back here because now you think, is this person open minded? What does he want to do with his time? What does he do
mm,
weekends? Do you just live for the weekend, Monday to Friday, jy wag vir die naweek, vriende, same thing like that. No, that is like,
okay.
it makes me think twice before just getting involved with anyone because I'm not here to babysit that person or to put him in the school, tell him who and what.
Mm,
Nee, wanneer jy
mm,
moet nou klaar lekker jou ducks in a row het.
mm,
You're
mm.
not like 21 or 18 anymore. Yeah.
Okay. So the older you get, you kind of like ik kan nog een beetje wachten.
Yeah, but not maybe not too long. Not like not
Mm,
another 10 years. So I mean, in your 30s now, it came out. But also
mm,
you do make different choices from what 5 or 10 years ago. So you do kind of
okay.
think twice now before you just you're more selective, and so I do think it is kind of a choice because
Mm,
it's not like where's everybody, where's the middle. The people is there, but it's just they need to be on the right mindset. They need to have their own things that they're doing with themselves. Where are
mm,
they going? Where are they heading? For me,
okay.
that's very important. Like,
Okay. So so the you said you're almost 33, so the 32, so the 22-year-old would have made different choices when it comes to dating.
yes, definitely. Okay, then you think
Mm,
is then they call it like maybe puppy love that time, and it's maybe
mm,
love at first sight, or it's your yes the lift and all that type of things. And but now as you get older, you now kissed a
mm,
few frogs, as they would say, and it's like okay, now you're thinking twice,
mm,
before you just
mm,
wanna spend 6 months or 8 months or a year or 2 or 3 with this person. Now it's like okay,
mm,
let me just think before. You don't want to waste people's time. You don't want to go and just meet schoon mense and meet that family
mm,
and then they like you and then you're like, okay, Nima, I need to get out of here or it's not really
mm.
where I want to be. Yeah.
Okay. So kissing frogs.
Fraud. It's a nice way to put it around on the family showers. How
No
would you
man,
describe it? How would you
no,
describe it?
I'm like a very visual person. So I'm like in my mind. So
It's frogs,
you
yes, it's frogs.
learn,
But
yeah,
she's
you learn from your experiences. From
definitely.
obviously, if you like, I'm a mom, so you your experience with your first child is not going to be your experience with your second child. I
Yes, yes,
assume it would be the same for my experience with my first boyfriend at 22 is not going to be the same experience I have with a boyfriend at 32.
yeah,
I want
definitely not.
more.
Yes,
And now at 32, do I think it becomes a bit more difficult, isn't it? Because now finances need to be sorted. Um,
yes,
your
yes.
mindset needs to be sorted. All of
Yes.
those things need to be sorted. So would you then say it would be easier just to like jump in when you're like in your 20s and figure out the rest? Because now
Yes.
you've kind of
20s are easier because now
traveled.
you don't have all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, do you have a policy? Do you have funeral cover, life insurance? Like, who's thinking of that when you're 20 or 21? But now it's like, okay, wag. Wait, how are you spending your salary? That needs to be like
Mm,
open questions if you want to get involved with somebody. But not obviously not
mm,
on the first date, but like you say, it's heading in that direction. Finances, you
mm.
must talk about that. It's important, yeah.
Okay. Ja, kijk, my single life was baie ver agter my. But I mean, when I got my well, what's my dog, my
The first,
husband.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Your
We
life
went on our
platform.
first. Yes, yes, we went on our first date. Well, he asked me. He stalked me
I
like
heard quite a
you.
bit of that as well. And I watched you had an 8 minute or 10 minute thing about that as well. And you guys are sitting next
Yes,
to each other in the
yes,
bed and
yes,
you like at Old
Yes.
Mutual, and you were like, no, but he was
Yes.
stubborn. You were the stubborn one in the no
Mm,
way, but he was stubborn in like
mm,
persistent, no? And eventually,
mm. Yes,
but
yes,
because of
yes.
like you mentioned, you were also hurt before, and you had your own traumas, and your mind was just like, no, this relationship thing is not gonna happen for me. It's you didn't want it, you weren't looking for it.
Exactly. And my thing was like, okay, so um I have my work, I have my savings, all of these things. How do you spend your money, first of all?
Yes, yes.
Um and second of all, what is the plan here?
Mm.
That's second of all. But then also when he gave me his plan, I was like, I also don't want that plan.
So it's like you have the plan, but he has a plan, but you didn't want that plan. That was like, no, 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 no. The plan clunky for me 100%.
Yes. So I think because the way you're talking is like close to you, and that's why I think a lot of men say when a woman gets too old, they would almost become undateable because why they not have
He's got this whole not
a to
expectation,
do
but
list.
in a mind now of Mr. Right or Mr. He must be that
Mm,
characteristics and his geselskap and his way of thinking. It's like,
mm,
what is this girl talking? And he's not making up when you meet this person or see someone already saying yes or no. Before the time, your mind is like, no. Like you're saying, when you met your husband, your mind was like, no, no. It took you after a while to convince you, like, oh, okay, I see the bad.
yeah.
You can relate. You're still thinking back to when you were single till before you met, and it was like, no, just tell you Lange because you don't sound right, and you what you talking about it doesn't fit, man.
Mm.
Ouchie.
So what draws you to a guy?
I think his conversation. You must you must have a good conversation, a broad way of thinking. Not small-mindedness, I mean open-minded. Know quite a bit about life. Not that I know a lot, but have like a hobby or something that you do part
Mm,
time in your free time. I don't know. Do you like to play golf, or do you want to go fishing, or do you like cycling with the boys, or do you guys go hiking on the mountain? Something like that you enjoy doing.
mm. Okay.
Yes.
I like that you mentioned the golf and the stuff because normally when you hear, I work a lot with teens, you would hear about like ons moet net McDonald's toe gaan and all of these
Same
things.
thing. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like
Takeaways and a
it's
drive-by. That's most not nice for them.
yeah, and it's fine that we only meet like or see each other at school and all of these things. But I guess it kind of now grows. So what are some of the challenges for you as a single lady in today's age?
Your challenges, I would definitely be honest. It's like men in the 30s, they've got children now already. So that's like a factor. Like, okay, am I willing
Mm,
to be instant stepmom? Can I just get used to somebody else's
mm,
children and me not having that baggage or not having that? So that's my that
mm,
not the colored mentality, but the stigma of life happens.
mm,
People make children, they've got a child by this one and a child by that one.
mm,
Yes, so you almost have to like take it or leave it.
mm, mm. There used to be a series that called something about baggage. And then every time you have three baggages. So you meet the guy, and then you open the small baggage, and then he has to say your baggage is acceptable.
Yes.
And then you move on to stage two, then you open the bigger baggage, and then he has to say your baggage is acceptable. And then number three, that's like a big secret. And then now you have to decide is it acceptable or not, and then you go on the first date. Um, and I think a lot of times we kind of miss that when we're in our 20s because, hormones and all the good that kicks in
Yes.
and
You're not
you
thinking
don't
all this.
even look at the baggage. You
Mm.
just like, I like cute, tired muscles,
He's
tired
good
day.
looking, he's nice on the eye, and he's cute, and he's most your type, man. He's nice
Mm,
hair or nice eyes, or he dresses lekker. And yeah, so he's not too bad. But
mm.
you don't know what's
But
behind the pretty faces or that. Yeah.
so no, what now? I mean, you said you're turning 33 next week.
Yes.
W- Do at this age, do you kind of have a like I will settle list?
You do have
I
a
will
list, but you
settle
also
list.
you kind of have to scratch the list, man. You can't be too much into your list, because you have
Mm,
this idea, but you like to say sometimes that person could be totally what you have not even imagined or what you don't have in mind. So don't
mm,
be too fixated on this list or what you have in mind and tall
mm,
or short is not the outside characteristics, but you do have quite a good idea. I think that's the good thing about getting older. You kind of learn, okay, what do you want, what don't you want? You become less indecisive and more sure of yourself.
mm. Can I maybe just ask you this? So there's this also this other series called Married at First Sight, right? I think I've mentioned in one of
I
this
love that
other.
program.
Yeah. So
Australia,
you
is
kind
it
of
Australia or New Zealand, or like
I
UK?
I normally watch the is USA one.
Yes,
So
yes.
yes, then they have all this list and to do list of what they want in a guy, and they
You
set
can
him
ask my
up
parents.
with
I
the
watch it. I used
person.
to watch it every Friday evening, Friday, and then it comes on Sunday evenings again.
Yeah. So and then they have the guy, and like 2 3 weeks in, this person that they made up in their mind
Mhm.
now is not what they wanted. Um,
Yes.
do you think we as women also sometimes when it comes to dating, we kind of do the same thing? We have a list of he must be a rugby player, he must be this, he must do that, he must do that.
Let's see rugby
And
players.
then,
Leave,
hmm,
leave. Rugby's not on the list. Okay, yes,
as
the
rugby
rugby.
not on the list.
My mommy is
Okay.
the chairman of the rugby club here, St. George's Rugby Club.
Mm.
Then you always go saam out to man and come with. It's this evening and it's a presentation evening and it's saying, I mean, no, no. There's rugby people, they want to go hang out and it's gather tide and it's here and it's these Saturday evenings. And also, not just about now, but rugby comes back way back in my family, man. The uncles and the grandpa and so my mommy and my grandpa, we know how the life is. So you must
Oh,
be,
okay.
if you're going to take that person in, you must take him with his lifestyle already. It's amper soos, vat my soos jy hom gekry het. Okay,
Yeah.
he likes to have a good time on a Saturday night and Sunday. It's
Mm.
over en ons slaap laat en begin maar weer 11 uur, 12 uur met 'n kop skiet. Nee man, wat is daai? They must be. But then it's like, jy het my gevat. You took me like that since day one. Don't come complain now 2 3 years in. But
So, so in your mind, as like a single lady, you almost want to take the guy now as closest, like to the first married at first sight, closest to your vision as what you think your life is going to be like. So that, as you say, they normally say like that a bit big is to the company,
yes,
changing.
yes,
So you're almost
yes.
like being pretty cautious of that.
Be cautious, yeah, because now you're saying, okay, rugby player. So now he's doing practice on a Monday evening, on a Thursday, Saturday mornings. They must leave early to go and play there away, and coming home Saturday evenings, and it's almost like like a footballer's wife, like a life. There's a lifestyle for them. There's a tag. You must hang out with that wives and that mamas and want wat sit by die baan by die en sy huis and no man, wait.
Oh, I can already rugby Owens what they also story.
Yeah, no, there is a few good ones. There is a lot of good ones. But that's
Uh,
like hulle is dun gesimons baie min van hulle. Oh my word.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Okay, so let's go back to the married at first sight question. So they have this list, right? And they get this person. Do you
Yeah.
think as like women, sometimes we kind of have this picture in our minds of who the guy must be. So we set up ourselves up as like, this is what I'm gonna get.
Mm.
No? Like this is when you go in for like a pair of you do online shopping, you see the
Yes.
shoe, you see the size, you say yes
Yes.
to the shoe or the dress. Die skoen kry toe, dit lyk soos die skoen op die shopping, né? And so now
Sometimes
as
that
a
sometimes that package is a disappointment. You
so now
you order
as
something so nice and it's like half the
uh,
size. You're like, where's it? Where's the item in the box? I can't even see it. Why did I
You
order
shop,
this for those 4 years?
yeah, you shopping
You
on Wish.
understand that?
Sy moet wegbly van Wish af.
You had enough
So,
disappointments on there. You stay away from them. Oh, they came for wish.
so now, as like uh picking your partner, you kind of do the same thing. You like list because you want that guy to be that guy, and then if he's not, then what?
But
What
listen,
happens
I don't
then?
think it's not just you as a person that's choosing him. I think also the family has a big influence. The family has a lot of the say. Don't you think so? Maybe mother and your father and your siblings, who they know you so well at this time, no? So that when
Mm,
you bring someone home or when you meet someone or when you mention someone's name, then they almost like, nee, my kind, hy is nie vir jou nie. Then they always say
mm,
no, or they already make up their mind. This guy is maybe he's too arrogant, or
okay.
he's a slapcat. Or like they make up their own mind because they know the
Mm.
people around here in the hometown, and they're like, nee. So also you're thinking,
Ah,
who's my parents and my family, my auntie? Can this guy fit in with the family? That's for me very important. So I always take family into consideration. Not that he must come and sit here and be a byprater, but I would
mm,
family is for me important. So I will look at
mm,
his values again. Does he is family important to him?
mm,
How does he speak to his family? Is there respect? How does he treat his mom and his dad? That type of thing is very important. Like first impressions when you're gonna walk in here, are you gonna
mm,
greet and shake hands, or are you gonna
mm,
sit and be quiet, or like
mm,
okay, you don't have to make the most conversation, but he must be a respectable person. They can say, okay,
mm.
he's a right guy.
It's a decent O. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So family plays a lot into dating.
very
And
much.
then wat gebeur if you feel die is nou die ou, but the family say
Look, at the beginning, I must say, I was very like, not at the beginning, but maybe a while back, I was like, what is the family going to say now? What can my parents say? But as I got older, it's not for me so much of what are they going to say. I respect them and I hold their opinions accountable and ek verneem hulle in ag, but at the same time, it's like, I'm also very different to what they are thinking or what they're doing. And sometimes my way of thinking, of speaking, doesn't always go with them or agree with what they're saying. So if it's going to be a guy that's also a little bit different or not as what they thought, then that is also going to be okay for me because at the end of the day, my family, yes, but I'm going to be the one living with him, waking up next to him every single day for the rest of how many years. So it needs to also be my final decision, and you need to be strong as a person and know yourself and say, look here, mommy, daddy, aunties, uncles, or granny, I respect you guys, but this is also the person that I'm choosing or deciding to be with.
and then obviously you've been single for a while. So how how have you kind of prepared yourself for being in a relationship
I think that
one
is
day?
the hard part, because once you get used to being single, then you become you fill your own time, your own space. You're doing your own thing. You're going shopping. You're walking at the mall, at the Pick and
Mm,
Pay, or doing your own thing. You being your own company, and so
mm,
that is the challenging part. But I think I'm always still keeping an open mind. You don't close your heart off. Don't
mm.
be like no. Don't walk like closed
Blinkers.
oorklappe or whatever. Yes, you must still be open
Mm,
minded and be an open person and be ready for that.
mm,
So I think I'm very adaptable and adjustable. If that person will and must come along, I
mm,
will be a open minded person. Be like, okay, we have to learn. It's gonna be a teamwork here. It's not just my way or
mm,
the highway. We have to
mm.
compromise. We have to meet each other halfway. That's very important.
Okay, okay. There is this thing called, I don't know, I've seen it at a few churches, but when you're thinking of, they will feel so called nog een altyd. Like now you don't have anyone yet, but you like
Mm-hmm.
thinking of like maybe in a year to
Mm-hmm.
possibly gaan nou 'n wedding wees, né? Na COVID.
Yes,
Then
yes.
you now go on to these courses where you go and you almost like prep for marriage. No?
A lot of the church they
Because
have that, no, marriage
yes,
counseling and marriage therapy and
mm,
all this. They say it's difficult questions. They say it's a weekend or a
mm,
couple of weeks away, and then it's like
yeah,
all these challenging questions. And if you both say no, then you must come to an agreement of why you said no and why he said no, and
mm,
each other halfway to why he chose green and you said blue. But can we come to an agreement here, 50-50?
yeah,
Yeah.
to kind of learn. And so that is also a route. But very important question: where do you meet other single people?
COVID at the moment, the pandemic, I don't know. There was a lot places around here, local clubs and things like that. But that's all closed now at the moment. And
Mm,
also my priorities and things has changed. I wouldn't really expect myself to meet the right person now in a club or in a pub or at a bar on a Friday evening or Saturday evening.
mm.
No, things has changed. Um
So
my
where would you find your open-minded, free-thinking husband?
I don't know, it could be anywhere maybe.
My
I
husband
don't
is saying a library.
exactly. I don't want to say that kind of stuff, then the people's gonna think, nee, my lost my as if how many bibliotheek kry. So I don't want to say, he's out on the beach or you're in the parking lot. And it's like, no, girl, I look up the beach. Yeah. Oh, it can be anywhere. It can be anywhere. Maybe at a live concert or
Mm.
yeah.
How do you kind of know? I know you know yourself, right?
Mm,
You said that a few times. So you kind of have evolved from the 20s to the 30s
yeah.
something girl. How do you know um, that these are the priorities that I want in a guy? Does it come from like seeing your parents? Where does that list of things come from?
Yes, yes. So for me, a lot as with parents and my upbringing, and I'm thankful. I'm very happy for a mom and a dad, and I come out of a stable home. It's no divorce and also abusing and slimy Mackay and all that type of things. So I'm grateful for that.
Mm,
It doesn't raise his hand.
mm,
My parents like to they have their friends here weekends, but there's nothing out of the ordinary. The colored lifestyle here at home and all
mm,
of that. But also my dad he's got I think four brothers left, yes. And I look and admire all of them. So his
mm,
family, two sisters, Dias, Ristach, decent people, they've got
mm,
like a godly Christian lifestyle, the stuff that they do, they know the word of God. That is very important for me again. Like religion, what does he do Sundays? What are you going to teach our children one day? That's very important. He must be the leader, and or sometimes you get the wives, women also I know they lead the way, they take the children to church and stuff like that, where the
mm,
man is just absent in that sense. But for me, that will be it's also very important. His religion,
mm,
what religion? How does he feel about his religion?
mm,
Does he
mm,
pray? Does he know how to pray? Does he find strength in all of those things?
mm.
Yeah.
So the list is made out of what you saw in your family, and then obviously maybe what you've seen in the community that you maybe don't want,
Yes,
like the
yes. So
not
it
to
comes
do
both
list.
ways. No, you see a lot of things of what you do want and what you don't want, things that you unlearn. Maybe people doing the same thing every weekend. You're sitting with the same
Mm,
company, the same friends. It's
mm,
for me, there has to be more to life than just doing the same thing over and over. Because, like the saying goes, you live, but some people don't. You don't even live a day in your life. Jy doen dieselfde goed oor en oor, but you're not really living life to the fullest and experiencing.
mm,
Let's take a drive to Camps Bay. We live in a beautiful place. Cape Town itself is beautiful. You can drive to Hermanus or wherever, Muizenberg for the day.
mm,
Don't just sit at home and do the same thing over and over. So that for me is very
mm,
important. You must, I mean, take the children out, or you and your wife go out and go eat at a nice restaurant, or take a walk and do nice things. Meet like-minded people and nice people.
okay. Can I just throw a spanner in the works quicker? Okay.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Okay. So now
What
you
is your
meet this
first choice?
guy.
Mm,
You know, you meet the guy. He's cute. He has the tick, and you get married, right?
mm,
Beautiful wedding. Also, I'm
yes.
of course genooi. Beautiful wedding. And then
Facebook Live. You connect us, they were on your page and all of that. Yeah.
and then after 2 months he changed. How
Seriously, jy
how
moet mos nou
would
jy
you
moet nou die ons jy moet kat goed uit die bos uit die donker te kyk. Jy moet hom goed uitcheck man. Don't be so
mm,
fuck. Jy moet wakker slaap vir die dinge. Really.
okay,
I don't know.
okay.
If if something doesn't feel right after 3 or 4 years, nee, walk out like this. I believe the science is there. I don't. The
Mm,
science is really there. Okay, yeah, people do surprise you after the years. In the beginning, everything is sunshine and roses, and then things just fade afterwards. Or they're not as
mm,
promising as what they said or what they were saying. People do turn out to be real disappointments or really not nice people. Especially, I
mm,
feel sorry for some women, some females. You know, you see nice females, and then you're like, yo, but your husband, your partner's not a nice person. And that's very
mm,
sad because now you made that lifelong choice to be with that person, but he's
mm,
actually not such a nice person. And then
mm,
I mean, you're either gonna build each other up, you're gonna bring out the best in each other, or you're gonna break each other down, and that both will be visible. You can't really hide it. People will see, okay, you're in a happy marriage, happy relationship, or no, things are not going so well.
would you feel more or less disappointed for choosing someone that was everything on your checklist and then he changed after marriage, or would you feel almost like more or less disappointed if you just chose someone because of like you know what, and then he changed afterwards?
Yeah, I think changing afterwards would be a disappointment, yeah. Changing
Mm,
afterwards would be a disappointment. I think that's very important. You must make a commitment and make that open-minded. Not promise to each other, but say, I'm meeting you, and I will for the rest of my life, I will try to make you happy or do things that's gonna meet your expectations. We're gonna always try and grow together because anybody knows you're not gonna be the same person now 5 years
mm,
later or 10 years later, your mind is going to change. You maybe going to change work or careers, or you want to study something, or you don't feel like
mm,
working, all this stuff, but you must still always consider the other person. You're not alone in this relationship. But yeah, it would turn out a bit disappointment if they don't, if they're not as what they were in the first year or two.
mm, mm. I had a conversation with a group of girls. When was it? Sometime this week or last week.
Mm.
And the one girl was very persistent that she wanted to be a mother. And I asked her now, why would you want to be a mother?
Yes.
So she didn't really, she wasn't so adamant at the fact that she wanted to be in a relationship. She was more adamant that she wanted to be a mother, right? And
Mm.
let them talk. I'm just there, I'm just the ears. And like, so now and then I just throw something in the bucket and then more things come out. And I was
Yeah.
like, at the end of the day, it comes to the fact that how she came into this world was very um, disruptive. So she was born in
Yes.
a car, like on the way to the hospital.
Yes.
Basically,
And all
I
those
mean,
factors, all those things play a big role to what how you're gonna feel now in your 30s or 40s to the person that you want to be with. Like you're saying now, she's okay with just being a mother, not so
yeah,
much marriage and partnership and all of that.
yeah. So the how she was born in on daar op die dinges in die parking lot, born there. Then 10 days later, her brother died, and her mom was almost like in that baby blues, and you cannot imagine.
Yes.
She now lives by a grandmother, and. So what I'm trying to get to is like I, sometimes as singles as well. If I look back to who I married, if I had my checklist next to Knox, da, rara, but like a quarter of it is there. Because
Yes.
when I was like in school, I was like, I would like rugby speel, I would sports it, I would this,
Rugby,
I
see,
would
rugby
that.
come rugby was important that time, but now
Yeah, yeah.
let's
So
not
now I'm married to a totally different guy than what I
yes,
had in my mind. But what
definitely.
if I look back now after like 9 years of marriage, it's not what I wanted, but what I needed.
That's it.
So
Yes.
how do you, as a single woman, look past of all what I want and then almost find a guy as to what I need? Do you almost dismiss what you want and then go for what you need, or do you go for what you want and hope you get for what you need?
No, I think it's a bit of both, but the need is very important as well. But you can't just have everything. You can't just, it's not just what you want. I mean, we all want nice things. You want, I don't know, you want material things, you want a house, you want a car, you want, must medical aid, it must be insurance. All those things must tick off your box and you must be sorted for this. And you moet hier bly and you moet so type of a werk hê and you moet, your work hours must go together. All those things, it's saying you want this type of thing out of a person and he must be the breadwinner, he must be the provider. But things could change so much. And afterwards, like you say, the thing that you need, maybe the roles could change. Maybe you are going to be the one that's going to be the provider for a while, or he's not going to work. And you have to be, look at these other strong points, these other characteristics. So it's not just, okay, die man werk hy nie, of wat doen hy, of what is he behind his name, but maybe like you say, what the things that you need, what can you learn from this person, what is he bringing to the table, that is more important also, that is very important. So growing as a person, you must be open-minded to grow, because if you're just going to say, okay, this is what I want, and then it's not really meeting your expectation, you're always going to be disappointed because you're not getting what you want as a person. But more trying to look with different eyes, with different vision, trying to see, okay, is it filling my needs? Am I growing? We don't even have to be exactly the same type of person, but similar, but we will learn from each other. That will be very important.
Okay. No, I just wanted to test you there, but because like I do find like sometimes as women we are so focused at what we can get out of the situation. Like I say, like
So
a online
fixated of like, okay,
shopping.
I'm bringing this to the table, so
Yes,
it's not a.
yes,
Then you almost and you can kind of lose the plot. You lose your way of thinking because they become almost like, um, what do you say? I don't want a man. I need a man, or I've got everything, this
mm,
and this and this, so he needs to give me
mm,
um everything that I
mm,
don't have, kind of a thing, and it
mm,
becomes almost not too conceited or vain, but you saying, okay, you in their mind they've got everything, so you must now bring something that I don't have because I'm already at the table. I've got the whole table, all that type of thing that
mm,
female. But you mustn't
mm,
become so overwhelmed with yourself. Don't lose the plot. You must
mm,
always remain level-headed and grounded. Be like, okay, this we're gonna
mm,
learn from each other here. It's a learning and growing process, and not just like,
mm,
okay, I've got my ducks in a row, so are you in or are you
mm.
in? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more about you and focusing on yourself and are you prepared than anything else.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Mm, mm,
This being alone or single time, it's definitely preparing you for a lot of things. Because maybe a few years ago or a while ago, being single is like, oh my word, where's this person? Where's this person? But you actually learn to, you become okay and more content. You focus on yourself, focus on your strengths, your weaknesses. You get to know yourself as a person. So
mm,
handling a relationship now is not the same as what I would have handled things a couple of years ago. Maybe that narcissistic ways, the way you handle an argument or a fight, ons gaat nou
mm,
skree en hom beskof raak, or we're not even going
mm,
to listen to each other. We're just going to be projecting our anger, and you're just going to be
mm,
angry, and that's just my way. And ek sê not vir jou hoe ek voel. But nowadays, you have to realize, okay, man, you can't just continue with that same mentality of ek sê my ding en klaar and deal with it. And dis nou hoe ek voel. I'm so angry
mm,
and this and that. But you have to realize, okay, no, man, give that person a hearing as well. Don't speak down on people. Don't like force your opinion. So the way that you speak and the way that you handle things now is different to how it would have been a while ago. So that is the not the perks, but the
mm,
advantages or this time of being alone or single. You grow as a person. You realize, okay, how are you going to handle confrontation now? Challenging conversations instead of just leaving things and being angry for a couple of days or weeks. Now you actually want to resolve things. You want to almost have a healthy debate. You want to handle conflict in a good way. But that person also must meet you halfway.
Ja, nee, dat is altijd die challenge.
Mm,
Okay, I hear you. I definitely hear you because in the coming months, we want to pay up most of the women that we have interviewed. Um, so what that's saying is that a a single woman like you paired up
Mm.
with a married woman that maybe they do not have the self esteem because they got married too quick, and she kind of have to develop within the relationship and not kind of develop here separately, like a plant, like a seedling growing separately
Yes,
before it goes
yes,
into the ground. She was
yes,
more the seed that had to grow inside the ground and then sprout. And
yes.
sometimes, that seed doesn't really make it.
Doesn't
So
always, yes.
there is a thing to learn, especially the longer or you stay single, because, like you say, you develop a bit more.
Yes.
You know what you want, you don't want, and it's
Mm-hmm.
also there's more. Well, development is also more set on the person if she wants to evolve as a person. And
Yes.
it seems
Yes.
more in your case, it was like because I haven't, I've traveled, I've done all of these things to evolve me as a person. I am now ready
Yeah, because look, the
to.
development is the word development and growth is different for everyone. You know, you could maybe still be single, but you're not even growing as a person. Or you could be in a relationship, but you even still not growing. So it's your choice. Like I say, you can take the horse to the river, but you can't make him drink at the end of the day. You can give someone all their tools or provide him with all the study classes or topics, but they
Mm,
choose to stay in a closed-minded or narrow-minded way of thinking. So it depends on
mm,
you as a person. How much are you going to open your mind to life and to different people's thinking, and or are you just
mm,
gonna, but sometimes like you say, being married, it's hard maybe to just grow and expand yourself, because now this, you don't want to outshine that person, you don't want to scare
mm,
off your family, or your in-laws are going to be
mm,
like, yo, this wasn't the person that we met at the beginning,
mm,
who are you now even, so you want
mm,
to also
mm,
evolve and grow with ease, but you don't want to just jump out of the box and be a complete different person. So
mm,
that is tougher. They do have a lot of challenges when
mm,
they are in a relationship or married at a young. But I'm really glad for the people that can make it at that age. You meet your
mm.
right at that age, 16, 18, and it works out for them.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. I think what I am learning today is, and again, and that's why we love these type of conversations, is because oftentimes we feel we cannot. I mean, I've done it. I When I got married, maybe one or two of my friends weren't married, so I didn't bring up those conversations that sometimes you go to a friend, you wanna maybe vent, so you rather go
Yes,
to
definitely. It's
your
like
married
word for
married
word, like
venting.
you stay with your type
Yeah,
of conversation, your crowd, your type of
yeah,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you have a baby and you have a single friend, you almost like, I don't want to tell because you don't know, don't want
Yes.
children, no,
Yes.
all of these things. But I've now again learned today that you actually can, because there is, you maybe don't know what being a mom and being in a relationship, but you definitely understand the frustrations that it comes with
Yes.
being a woman. And I mean,
Yes.
there we can relate.
Yes.
So,
And even like one of your interviews was saying the other day, woman's month or being a woman is not the fact that you had 4 or 5 kids, or you married, or you're wearing a ring on your finger, or you've signed those papers and had the walk down the aisle. It's more than that. The fact that you are already a woman in itself. You're going through all of that emotion that makes you are enough as a person. Not if and when 5 or 10 years
mm,
down the line, and when you
mm,
become a mom to 2 or 3 children. So we need to
mm,
always keep in mind that you are enough as a person already. You are you, and whether that person is gonna come along or not, jy moet leer om okay te wees met dit. Yeah.
yeah. And because you guys have almost like evolved as a person already, you kind of also already know these skills of how to adapt in a conversation, how to deal with anger management and all of these things. So
Yes,
there's a lot
yes,
of lessons that can be taught between the two different types of women.
yes, yes, definitely.
Hmm. I didn't think, yeah. I like doing these interviews because I always learn. And I mean, what I
Yeah,
can
definitely.
now
There's
take
always,
from
always
this,
something to learn. Always. I mean, I must say,
yeah.
and sorry to interrupt, I visited a friend or two. It was in June or July month. She is now pregnant with her fourth child. And for me to go into somebody's house, and she invited me, she said, "No, come over, come visit." But she has three little girls, 7, 5, and 3, and pregnant with a fourth one. So
mm,
there's a big difference between other than dynamics has changed. We're the
mm,
same age at school, same age matric, but what are we going to speak about, but actually
mm,
it doesn't have to be like that. You can still chat about everything else, and the kids are there, the kids are playing, but you can still connect as a person to person. But how are you really? How is
mm,
things? What is your work, your studies? What is your future plan?
mm,
That you can still speak about a lot of things, because there's
mm,
things that you admire in each other. I might look at her and say, "Wow, you are a super mom." Why? And even you this type of mom, until I actually came into your home, in your space, and then the way
mm,
she's maybe looking at me is like, "No, man, you single, enjoy your life." And Jay's still, yeah, you got all the privileges of travel. I wish I was still you. You got
mm,
nobody, no baggage, nothing. So people
mm,
do look at you kind of in that light, and they're like, "No,
mm,
you're so
mm,
young. Do your thing, man. Wow, worry, Jay," and all of that.
mm. Do you feel kind of, as a single woman, you get dismissed a lot because you are not a mom, you are not married, like you get
Yeah,
dismissed a lot?
people do say it all the time. Like, "Kyk, ek wil nie staan because I don't want to be rude, maar jy het nie so kinders, jy het nie 'n man, so jy sal nie verstaan nie." People say it straight away. Yeah. They're like,
Mm, mm,
you don't have that stress, that pressure, and it's already like, oh, okay, isn't it like part of the
mm,
conversation there of stress and what it's
mm,
like to put the kids in the bath and work and homework and still do all of
mm,
that. So there is those type of things, but it also depends who you're around, and you need to know that person from what how they are saying it, what they're trying to say. Because
mm.
most of the time people don't mean it in a bad light, but yeah,
Yeah. No, no, no. Look, the we're not trying to highlight the bads, but what we do are trying to highlight is how we can move forward from here. Um, on Monday we had an interview, women in organization, I think, and it came up that just a, a don't want to say the mistake that we made for Women's Month. We had, yes, we did have youngsters on the show. I think we had three or four, but we could have done more to include the younger generation for Women's Month. And we oftentimes think when it comes to Women's Month, it is the moms and,
yes, the aunties,
you
the
know,
50s years old to tell their life story. But it doesn't always have to
there we
just be
go.
those experienced people that have their own business or own organizations, or it can be people that's young in their 20s or still studying and sharing their thoughts about
Mm,
how they feel about life and what is their outlook on things.
yeah, yeah. So even with doing this, we have shown our bias when it comes to Women's
Mm.
Month, where we kind of, it's almost like May is for Mother's Day, and
Yes,
nou
then
vat
it's
ons
all
toe
about
maar Women's
mommy.
Month ook oor. Ons vat nou Women's
Yes.
Month ook oor. Because it's like about
The day
women with
ended. Yes.
children.
Yes.
Yeah. And we oftentimes, like the older generations, like the Omas, and we forget the younger ones. So that is something we've learned as an organization from doing this, that there's a
Yes,
lot
it's
of
not
bias
waiting
in just
until
in
yes, you don't need to wait until you 40 and
yeah,
plus
yeah,
looking for those person that has that amazing inspiration story to share. It can be young people as well, sharing their traumas or their
mm,
struggles on school, on college or varsity, or even just
mm,
being at home. They can just share their views and learning from that.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, the interview we had with Terry and why can't I remember her name?
Yes, the two
And her
sisters, ne?
sister, Gabby. Gabby.
Yes,
Um,
on the
I
radio
learned
show.
such a lot from her just being a 13-year-old. And
Yes.
yet
Their minds are so open and they are
we,
so excited for life,
yeah,
and they're actually so mature. They know it more than what we're thinking a 13-year-old would know. They even just listening to them is like, wow.
yeah, yeah. So again, just by you talking about your single journey and how you kind of have to journey, well, navigate through it, it has taught us again a lot with how we can pay up. Sometimes you oftentimes think, no, we have a young girl, so you an older girl can't talk with her because maybe she has a baby and blah, 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 blah. But it's
Yes.
actually nice to connect those two together because the
Yes.
one can teach the one.
Yes. You can teach
Same
each
thing
other
like with,
new and different things.
yeah, same
There's
with
always
dating.
something to
So
yeah.
Yeah, it is that connection. So
Yeah.
definitely in this hour we have learned a lot
Yes.
um, that I can take away as an organization and apply it to the girls that we normally work with.
Yes,
And
definitely.
I mean, when you started with the interview, you were very nervous because it's like, hoe gaan ik praat voor een uur? But I mean,
Yeah, definitely. I was like, what do you say for the full hour? But like,
yeah, but
even the
besides
same
joke,
time goes quick because you get through the questions, you answer from the heart, you speak what's on your mind, and then you realize, wow, where's the time gone again?
exactly. So yeah, we made jokes, but there was actually real life things that came out of it that can save another girl. And even in there, uh, I like also the fact that you mentioned that you guys traveled, and I mean that was more of an enlightening for you as a person because why? It's almost like your world expanded. If
Definitely,
I
definitely.
yeah.
And you know, I
So what
must
did that
mention,
do for you?
before I traveled, I was in a relationship. Now, before I traveled, and I was there was in quite a serious relationship, but that also didn't work out. You know, and for me, it's important. You need to meet me halfway. Like, how do you feel at that age or stage of your life? Do you want to come and work overseas? Are we going to Skype call? Are we going to keep in touch? How? What? But it all just fell in. It just fell. It just collapsed. You know, it didn't work out. That person didn't meet me halfway. It was like it was too much to ask. It was still feel like how can you expect a man to remain faithful with you while you're overseas? So after a few couple of months, and that tested for me. Like say, test the waters, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. So
Mm,
even me
mm,
coming back home now after my overseas travel, I can't now say, okay, you're done traveling now. Let's try now.
mm,
Because it's not gonna work. If I say that, you weren't there for me at that part. Now it's not like, oh, you're done traveling. Put it behind you. I can't
mm,
put it behind me. It is something very significant. I learned a lot. So I appreciate or like I need to find myself around people that is like tell me more
mm,
about your experience. Like I would obviously want to listen to more about you. I've got questions for you again. So that person needs to be
mm,
interested, and that's very important. People mustn't just
mm,
shake off where have you been and what you done. Like, ah man, put it
mm,
behind you and we speak about the
mm,
now, not where you were
mm,
2 or 3 or 5 years ago. But for me, that was a big chapter in my life. The fact that I've traveled and seen places and different cultures and nationalities and just seeing how the way other people live and do things
mm,
from us
mm,
here at home in Cape Town. It's you learn a lot, and that person needs to meet you halfway. They need to be not saying everybody needs to travel, but you need
mm,
to have an interest. You need to respect what that person is saying, because if you don't respect that person's views, then we actually never gonna go anywhere in this conversation. You know, when you start
mm,
telling me your things and I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, are you done?
mm,
Then you're not gonna feel that okay, I can grow with this person because
mm,
they're not really interested in showing like any form of
mm.
connection with your views or what's valuable in your life. So yeah,
It again, yeah, I think it again comes to that point where in all the other conversations we kind of want to prep the person, but we need to prep how the support structures and the community kind of respond to the person.
mm,
So it's like when we go and do bullying or leadership, the kids always say, "Yes, miss, this was nice." So now we know more, but we need to go to our house that doesn't know what we know. So
yes,
they almost lose that thing, that skill that they picked up because at home it's like, wat gaan aan met jou? Wat gaat die aan? Ik versta niet die nie. And
yes. How are you gonna
we
apply that thing at home? How where are you gonna
mm,
you teaching something, but when must it now be implicated? When are we gonna start
mm,
this whole new
yeah.
course or this new structure?
So it applies the same way when it comes to dating. So I don't necessarily need you to change, but I need to let I need you to um, equip yourself with skills. I'm trying to get the nice words. Equip yourself with skills that even though you are not interested in art, it will be
Yes.
nice for you to show an interest when I am interested in art. So,
Yes.
baby,
Yes.
what is going on here?
He
And
doesn't
you
have to agree
explain.
to everything that you're saying. Like you're saying, you like maybe art now. He doesn't have to be, oh wow, yeah, I'm gonna join art with
Mm,
you. But show interest, let me see your painting or let me
mm,
hear what the classes was about. Show a little bit of
mm,
interest. That will mean a lot to
mm,
that
mm,
person. And likewise, maybe if he's into whatever his side, his sports or his studies, but you need to
mm,
bring a new idea, something new to the table to keep growing and evolving as a person. Otherwise, we're gonna stay stuck where we are and we do the same thing over and over, and it's not gonna we're not gonna grow as individuals.
Normally people divorce when there's either like abuse or these days, for the jongerige mense, they divorce when they've fallen out of love. Because there's no more butterflies, die butterflies is allemaal dood. Um,
What is it saying? The seven Mariare and seven fit. Is that a real thing? The seven suckers so.
ja, ja, my sakke op die sout is nou hier, my keel gat
Yes,
aan.
yes, that
Ah,
first
my
7 years
soutfees,
of struggle, and once you're after that hurdle, dan gaat het beter gaan.
apparently. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, waar was ek gewees? Yeah, so
Yeah, you're
now,
saying young people, how quick they change their minds.
yes. So you keep on saying about growth. I don't need them to like, but I need growth from them.
Mm.
Would not growing, no, in caps, would not growing be an enough or a good enough reason for divorce?
I think I would stick it through for a long enough time. I would be. You won't just leave on the first time. Like they say, the woman you, after the first, second time, no, you give it to 10, 20 times of talking and begging and pleading. But that is for me a big thing because I can't remain stagnant to that person. And that is for me, like you say, growth or not growing, it's very important. Like we need to always grow as people, grow with our minds. Yeah, it's very
Hmm.
important. But I don't know if I would just leave or would I continue staying. I mean, I haven't been in that situation yet to know how much you can
Mm,
really take in the sake of I'm married or but
mm.
no, growth is very important.
Mhm.
But
Lost.
sometimes, like adults and stuff, people play on the games nowadays. They play games on their phone. They're playing, or they're watching TikTok, or they're playing solitaire on their phones in the evenings, and it's like so people do come to that point of like comfortable. So okay, what meer moet ek nou leer uit die lewe uit?
Mm,
I'm work. They leave get to a level of they've worked enough and they've worked hard
mm.
enough. They've got everything, all the material things. So they don't really put themselves out there for learning new things. But you need to always try and, I don't know, read a book or try to get a
Mm.
new hobby or something like that.
Okay, then lost pen in the work. Is your growth dependent on his growth?
We both need to grow together. But equally for him,
Mm,
outgrow me. But the fact that he's gonna grow is gonna be a challenge to me. It's gonna be like a good motivation. This guy maybe he's going to the gym or he's doing waking up early, maybe on a Saturday or Sunday morning. Just the fact that he's growing will definitely keep me wanting to grow as well. I mean, hey, this guy is doing his part-time studies, or he's always trying
mm,
to better himself, maybe at work or at home, things like that. It's very important that but the fact that he doesn't grow, it will drain me. It will be like an extra child in the house. It'll be like, yo, I'm coming from work and doing my own things, and you must come home and then still, why?
mm,
What's wrong? But
mm,
we all go through that. There's gonna be moments where you outgrowing that person, or they outgrowing you, or you're gonna give
mm,
80, they give 20, and vice versa.
mm, mm. Okay. No, I just wanted to know, man, because I often find um in a relationship we kind of want to grow together, right?
Yes.
I mean it's fun. Like if you exercise, automatically you're gonna exercise. It's,
Yes.
it's gonna be nice. But
Also could
what
herbalize
happens?
some or anything like that.
Something is that. But what
Yeah.
happens if he you grow at a
Mm,
quicker rate? It's like you're putting two plants in a buck
mm,
in the soil, and you grow quicker than him. What is this something for you to like think about?
yes.
What happens? I heard what you said, and you said it will drain me. Yes, because it's almost like you now need to wait, and I know waiting is like it's always a process wherever you are to wait.
Yes.
So
This
um
pandemic, this pandemic just be over. This 2 years for all of us is just waiting for life to
yes,
get better and things to happen
yes,
again. It's really it's
and I
exhausting.
mean
It's draining.
to wait for someone to grow mentally, physically, spiritually, it does take a toll on you. So I'm very happy that you said that. and honestly said that. But I mean, that is what I always wonder about when it comes to singles. Do you take that into accountability, that growing stage, and what would happen if you were to grow quicker than him, or he grows quicker than you, and it's kind of like a, because all plants don't grow the same rate. Sometimes there's a plant that must first get the flower before it can bloom more. And the onion is for bar is just like up there. So
Or the one is hanging like a leech, like a sponge on that person. He's hanging here on your broekse pipe here, man. Bachman says, you must come rise up, meet me already halfway. But I think there
yeah.
is gonna be those moments. There are gonna be
Mm,
moments. Even I might that person might already be outgrowing me. He might be growing in his career or in his studies or
mm,
whatever. And then I'm still like, oh my gosh, I'm still just here, the basic in my work or in my career. And then it's like, oh my
mm,
word, this person is flying through his colors here, he's acing it, and here I'm struggling or challenging at my workplace. So we
mm,
need to respect each other and grow together, but also be
mm,
there for each other. Encourage and
mm,
uplift each other for as long
mm,
as we can. Be like, I'm not gonna just leave you if you don't get promoted or if you don't finish your studies now in the next 3 years, like you said. Or
mm,
but give it time, have patience with each other. I think that's why we are there at the end of it, not just to feel like, okay, are you growing with me or not? We need to have patience in this life, and many of us, sometimes we don't have patience. We don't have that. We just want things to happen now, now, now. We
mm,
in this next 3 year plan or 5 year plan or 10, it's not always going to fall into our place now. It takes longer than others.
mm. Okay, okay. No, I think I wanna stop it there, and
Mm,
I wanna thank you for doing this interview. I know when you started off, you said I don't know why, how long I will be able to talk about being single, but you raised a lot of good issues, like I said. And the one thing that I also always remember is there was a movie that I love that says I think it's Save the Last Dance, or no, Will You Dance? Shall We Dance? That is the movie's
uh,
name. And in there, the investigator, because they trying to see if the guy is cheating, but all he's doing is he went for dancing lessons. And then the investigator asked the
no
woman,
misunderstanding.
yeah, why did you get married? And she said, I got married because I want someone to be a spectator of my life, someone I could not grow with necessarily, but can see me in this moment. So, and almost kind of journey with me through this moment. And I think
Mm,
it always sticks with me when I think about that movie, because oftentimes we expect a lot moving out of single life to marriage, right? And oftentimes in that we set ourselves up for disappointment. The same way a mom gets pregnant and almost like all her hopes and dreams and everything is up the
yes.
arm kind.
And then it's not what you
And
expected after giving birth, and then they go into this pressure, what they call a postnatal thing, and all this whole
yeah,
anxiety. I'm not being a good mom. My husband is not helping me. I slaap in die nagte. Hy moet
yeah,
opstaan by die
yeah,
bottel. All this stuff.
exactly. And I think that's why I raised the question with growing. How do you view this next step of after being in the single life to going to married life? How are you preparing yourself as a single woman to then step into this new step? Because it's different. And I like the fact that you mentioned, look, now I'm in my 50s, my priorities is a bit different. I know myself, I develop, I upskill myself for the next process. And I'm not just waiting and not doing anything. And I think a lot of
Yes,
times
yes, yes,
people do not understand that even while you're waiting, you
yes.
still you still prepare,
Mm,
you still
definitely.
manage, you still do a lot of these things. And I think I've mentioned it now the other day. We were talking about the purpose, finding purpose in your life, which
Yes,
we will talk about on Friday. And I mentioned the fact that when a baby is there and is busy learning to crawl, right?
mm,
Sometimes he crawls backwards. Other times
yes,
he just lays there on his tummy
yes,
time. Other times he screams for food, he stops. He poops,
yes,
he stops. He sleeps, he stops. So there's not always that constantly I need to find, I need to do, I need to get. But even
Yes,
in
just
those
let it
silent
be. Just let
moments,
it be in that moment. Yes.
yeah, even in those silent moments, he's still training himself to get to the crawling stage. And then when he gets to the walking stage, it's the same thing. Um, so I love this interview because it almost sums up that exact same thing. That while you're waiting in your yeah,
Yes.
singleness, get yourself ready and
Yes.
don't
Yes.
necessarily wait for the other person to get yourself in that space of I need to be ready now. But while you wait,
For me, it's like
get yourself
you can't wait
ready.
for somebody else to come and figure you out. You need to already know who are you as a person. What makes you angry? Why are you getting frustrated? Why are you getting emotional here? If you can't explain it to yourself, how must the next person know you? You can't just wait for, oh, I'm waiting for somebody to come and figure me out, to come and make me happy, to come and see what I like, what takeaways, what food do I like, what music I like. No, you must figure yourself out as a person. What 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 is you know breaking points. What do I tolerate or don't tolerate? What is like things that I'm not gonna accept, things that's unacceptable? How much are you willing to take as a person? All that stuff. But at the same time, it mustn't be this black and white list. As you said, you have this idea in yourself, but you're still gonna be adjustable and adaptable. But definitely in this waiting time, it's learning about yourself, getting to know your strengths and your weaknesses, because it's easy for someone to tell you what is your strengths. Like maybe I'm looking at your videos or your page now, I'm saying, oh, now I'm hyping you up, I'm making this thing, but maybe off the camera or life in itself, or when you're at home, you might not be the smiling or this friendly person. You might be emotional wreck or whatever. So you need to figure yourself out as you go along, because what we come across as in the public or to people, it's all fine and well, it's all nice, but actually in the you need to know yourself, what is keeping you up at night, what are the things that you haven't dealt with or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And sometimes we don't even know the stuff that we're not dealing with. You don't even know the stuff that you have rubbed under the carpet until it comes out, like you said, as a trigger many years later. Then you're like, oh my word, this is something I haven't dealt with those years or that time. And especially us as colored people, we come out of homes type of, ons mense praat nie oor dinge nie, is net iets gebeur, dan is dit oor en verby. En jy gaan maar. So those type of things from our parents and their parents, we realize, okay, ma, it's not just you the problem. Okay, now you can't speak, but it all goes way back. Your parents or praat oor dinge nie, hy sê iets het gebeur, you just continue. But those type of things now, you like, okay, no man, I want to break this idea of where we just continue, ons gaan slaap kwaad, or we don't speak about things that happened last week. No, we must ever sit and say on a normal Monday, Tuesday evening, hey, can I have a chat? You can also oor dinge praat, or what happened now the end, or how do you feel about this, feel about that, instead of building up your anger or your frustrations. So that is for me in this waiting time is definitely learning and unlearning a lot of things and trying to, like you say, imply new things. But sometimes it's also hard because you're going home or you're going back to a place, but it's hard to imply something. So hopefully one day when the relationship or the right person is, then you can imply and you test the waters, as I said, to see it. Have I been actually growing, or am I still the same person as way back then?
Yeah, I mean, for all the other singles that need single support, she's here. Follow on Facebook.
A singleness.
Inner
Amen.
singleness. Yes, but
Hey,
on that note, ons is baie oor gesê vanaand. We want to say good
hey.
night to those and those who
Thank you
are
for
still
your
going to
time. Thank
view.
you so much, for having me. It was so nice. It was so
No,
nice of you.
thank you
Nice
for your
chatting to you.
time. Thank you for
Yay.
your time. Tomorrow night we have a fantastic. We're talking about loss and grief. We have someone that actually wrote a book. It's actually launched today. I think that by datums kry. It launched today. Um, where she wrote a book for kids explaining loss and grief to them. And I'm very excited about the topic because in this COVID time, I'm sure a lot of us has gone through it.
Yes,
And
yes.
so she's
Lost
gonna talk
a
about
loved
her
one.
journey. Yeah,
Mm.
so she's gonna talk about the journey, but also her book. And so please join us again tomorrow night at 8. And like I said,
Definitely.
for the month of August, we almost hit our goal with 31 women. We are just shy of it, where we try and interview a woman
Well done,
every
well
night
done.
for August. For August. and just bring awareness about the different topics or the phases we as women go through. And then also from there on September, October, we're gonna have more deeper conversations with these women about um, the different the like we say the results that we got back from doing the interviews in August month. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. We
Thank
hope
you
to
for
have you
you.
on soon again. We will pair you up with someone, like I said. But for everyone else who watch, good night, and we will see you again tomorrow night. Bye.
Good night. Bye.